Victor Hale, one of the city's wealthiest and most influential entrepreneurs, had constructed an empire through sharp wit and relentless ambition. Yet, all his riches seemed hollow as he watched his 6-year-old son, Ethan, gradually wither away. Once energetic and joyful, Ethan had become fragile, frail, and burdened by a mysterious illness that drained the life from his face and left his eyes dull. Victor found himself pacing the halls late into the night, terrified and desperate. Doctors offered theories that led nowhere, providing medicines that only seemed to worsen Ethan's condition instead of improving it. For months, the mansion felt like a silent hospital ward, filled with unanswered questions. But everything changed the day Sophia came into their lives. Sophia, a calm and compassionate nanny, entered the mansion with a soothing voice and an aura of understanding. There was something almost otherworldly about the way she connected with children. From the moment she stepped into the house, Ethan raised his head for the first time in weeks, studying her with curiosity. Within days, the boy who could barely speak whispered his first laugh since falling ill, a soft but hopeful sound that brought tears to Victor's eyes. Sophia didn't push Ethan to engage in activities or stick to strict routines. Instead, she spent hours sitting beside him, reading softly, encouraging small sips of water, and gently placing a hand on his forehead when he winced. She never treated him like a patient, but as a child whose world had become unbearably still. As she spent more time with him, Sophia noticed something no one else had. The pattern behind Ethan's sudden collapses, the sharp drops in his energy, and the shallow breathing always following his medication. At first, she dismissed it as a coincidence, doubting her own instincts. But one evening, as Victor was in an urgent meeting with doctors, she observed Ethan take his evening dose. Within 20 minutes, his lips turned pale, and his tiny hands began to tremble. Her heart raced with the unsettling realization that something was terribly wrong. Something no medical professional had caught, because they were too trusting of the treatments. Curiosity led Sophia to the medicine bottle, and under the dim light, she examined it carefully. At first, everything seemed normal: the label, the dosage, the instructions. But a gut feeling told her the danger wasn't in the printed words, but in the bottle itself. Without a word to anyone, she quietly slipped it into her apron and made her way to the kitchen, where Henry, the family's longtime pharmacist, was cleaning the counter. When he saw the bottle in her hand, his hands froze. He smiled, but there was an unnatural tension in the air, an invisible chill that made Sophia's instincts flare. Sophia tested his reaction, asking softly, "Daniel reacted strangely after this dose." Henry's response was too quick, too dismissive. "Children have weak systems. It happens." His tone, though polite, sent a jolt of certainty through her. Something was being hidden. Without confronting him directly, Sophia retreated, her mind spinning with what she had just witnessed. Later that night, she snuck into the study, where she searched through medical logs, cross-referencing each bottle number and refill date. What she found chilled her. 6 weeks earlier, Daniel's prescription had been altered, right around the time his health began to deteriorate rapidly. The next morning, she approached Victor, who was seated beside Ethan's bed, looking drained and hopeless. Hesitating for a moment, she handed him the bottle and whispered, "I think someone is hurting your son." Victor stared at her, confused and exhausted. But when she explained the patterns and discrepancies, a fire ignited within him. He immediately ordered a private investigation, keeping it confidential to avoid tipping off the culprit. After the bottle was analyzed, the disturbing truth was revealed. The medicine had been tampered with, laced with microdoses of poison designed to weaken Ethan gradually, making him appear terminally ill without raising suspicion. Victor's heart sank as he read the report. The betrayal hit him harder than any business loss he'd ever experienced. And the person responsible for this sickening act was Henry, the assistant he had trusted for over a decade. Driven by his resentment towards Victor's late wife and his twisted ambition to control the Hale empire, Henry had been altering the medication to slowly incapacitate Ethan, hoping that Victor, consumed by grief, would abandon his business empire, leaving Henry to seize control of its financial assets. Confronting Henry was explosive. Victor's fury roared through the mansion as guards restrained Henry, who confessed coldly that he never meant to kill Ethan outright, but to break him down slowly. He wanted Victor to be so brokenhearted that he would give up everything, including the empire Henry had long plotted to control. The betrayal shattered Victor, but there was no time for sorrow. Ethan needed urgent medical attention. As paramedics rushed him to the hospital, Sophia stayed by his side, holding his hand, whispering words of encouragement. Hours passed in the hospital under harsh emergency lights, and when the doctors finally delivered good news, Victor nearly collapsed with relief. The toxin had been removed, and Ethan's body just needed time to recover. Weeks later, when Ethan returned home, healthier and full of energy, the mansion was finally filled with warmth again. Victor watched Sophia laughing with Ethan in the garden, and his gratitude was beyond measure. The truth behind Ethan's illness had shaken the Hale family, but it also forged a bond stronger than anything money or power could create. And as this story reaches you, remember this: sometimes the true heroes are not those with wealth or influence, but those who notice what others overlook. The ones who act when they know something is wrong. If this emotional journey moved you, subscribe to the channel because your support helps us bring more powerful, life-changing stories like this one. Stories of courage, resilience, and truth that remind us that hope always rises in the darkest moments.